SSH login on the same IP address but different OS? I've connected Raspberry Pi with Raspbian OS to local network and set up the SSH login using SSH keys. I successfully log in just by SSH my name at 192.168.5.163, assign static IP to Raspberry Pi. I have now removed the Raspbian OS and inserted an SD card with Ubuntu server, headless, on it. I turned on the Raspberry Pi and tried to log in, but I got error. I went on and added to my .ssh/config. But now I get Clearly the problem is that I want to log in into two different OCs on the same IP address, but the new Ubuntu OS does not waive the SSH login setup, and it doesn't allow me to log in any way. How should I proceed in order to be able to use both OCs interchangeably?
There are several potential solutions. The easiest solution is the one Davidgo proposed in his answer, which, as he mentions, leaves you open to a MIM attack. Unlikely, but it's good to practice good security even in private situations. A slightly better solution would be, as Eugen Riek proposed, to synchronize the /etc/ssh/ssh_host_key files between both target OS systems. A more reliable method would be to specifically decide which OS to connect to, so you do get an error if you connect to the wrong OS. That would for example allow scripts using SSH to fail if they target the wrong OS. You can do that by using effectively an alias in the ~/.ssh/ssh_config. You can then connect with SSH and LT, your _user and GT @ Raspbian Pi, to retrieve the Raspbian OS key, then switch to CentOS on your Raspberry Pi, do the same with SSH and LT, your _user and GT @ CentOS Pi, to get the CentOS key. Then, in the future, whenever you connect to the wrong OS, you will get the host key error. Make sure to use the correct OS the first time you use the SSH command, so you don't accidentally store the CentOS host key in the Raspbian known hosts file. Disclaimer, I've never used this solution and I'm not in a position to test it, but it should work correctly from my understanding and the documentation of SSH.
You can fix the immediate problem by following the instruction in the error. You must do this each time you switch boxes. The problem you are running into is that your computer has detected that the system it's logging into is different to the one previously seen, and the warning is there to prevent man-in-the-middle attacks. There are a number of ways of dealing with this properly. They include setting up names for each box and /etc/hosts and then referring to the SSH connection by name rather than IP. In this way SSH will associate different server fingerprints with each name. Ignoring the check, this opens you up to MIM attacks, so only do it if you understand and are comfortable with the risks. You can ignore this check by adding user_known_host file =/def/null to your SSH command, or /stricthost key checking =no. 2a. You can create a config that only ignores the key check for the one IP by putting the following into ~/.ssh/config. host 192.168.5.163. Strict host key checking no. User known host file equals /def/null. I wouldn't advise it unless the machines fill the same role, but you could make the host keys and /etc/SSH the same on both servers, and restart SSH on the one you changed. In this way both servers will appear the same to the client.
The easiest way to do this is to copy /etc/SSH/SSH_host_key from one installation to the other. This will give both OCs the same host keys and thus the fingerprint.
Another option is to give each OS a different IP address. They get the same one now because the DHCP server sees the same MAC address. So you could configure one install to use a static IP address. I would follow Eugene's suggestion though, that simplifies things. Or get a second Pi and run both machines at once.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.